Well, hello again. Welcome back. On my last video, I talked about the fact that the narcissist did not go off and get it right with the next person. Not only did they not get it right with the next person, they're not going to get it right with any person. And I talked extensively about that, and that's something, honestly, I'm going to talk about more and more. I'm going to have videos periodically about this idea because I really think coming out of narcissistic abuse, or staying in it, even say it's a friendship, you deal with this idea that the person might change, things might improve, they might stop doing this to me, whatever they're doing, triangulation, manipulation. But I think one of the biggest things that we battle with the narcissist of all varieties is this idea that after we stop being friends with them, or after we discarded them, or after they discarded us, or however this works, they somehow went off and they got it right with the next person. And I just wanted to flat out say that that is absolutely not, it's not accurate, guys. It's not accurate. But on top of that, so today I want to kind of piggyback off of that and discuss something else that is another, I think, a really big misconception that we have about the narcissist and all of these people. And it's definitely connected. So one of the things that we think oftentimes is that the narcissist somehow, some way, goes through their life and they just go from one outstanding person to the next, to the next, to the next. So they were with you, they were with an outstanding person. I'm just going to say most of you guys on this channel, again, I can't vouch for everybody, and I'm not just going to sit here and boast and say I'm an outstanding person, but I think most of us we're kind, loving people. We're good people to be in a relationship with. And most of the time we bring in a ton to the table. So what do we bring in, for instance? People like us, people of the light. We bring in, people call them empaths, whatever you want to call them, but I'm going to say people of the light. We bring in so much faithfulness. They know that we're not going to cheat on them. They know that. Even though I think in some ways they're so sick, they believe everybody's cheating on them because that's what they're doing, right? So they assume you're talking to other people because they're talking to other people. But I think they know that we're not going to cheat on them. What else do we bring in? Loving nature, empathy. We want to see the best for the people that we're with. We give to a fault. We bring in kindness, consistency. Boy, is that a big one. Let me just stop there for 1 second. One of the worst problems about the narcissist is that they are so inconsistent with their behavior. It is a constant roller coaster ride, as you guys know. There's no stability whatsoever. You do not know 1 second to the next what you're going to get with these people. You just truly don't. And that is, I think, in some ways, the very worst part about being with a toxic person or a narcissist is that you just don't ever know what you're going to get. Except the one thing you do know what you're going to get is the unexpected. You know that you're going to wake up on certain days. You don't know when, but you're going to wake up and you're going to get a text from the narcissist and it's going to be World War III. For whatever the reason. Or you're not going to get a text out of nowhere for 8 hours, 10 hours a day, and they just vanish. So there is no stability and consistency at all. One of the things we bring in is that stability and consistency. How wonderful is it to have a friend or a romantic partner that you know what you are getting day in, day out? Does everybody have kind of rough days sometimes? Sure. But our rough days are not like the narcissists. It's not even close. Our rough days do not lead us to abuse and scream and yell and stonewall and silent treatment, and we don't do that stuff. They do. That's all they ever do. So we brought in consistency, faithfulness, love. We gave to a fault. We were there when they were sick. We're there if they're injured. We're there if they need anything at all. There's probably a lot of other things that you brought into the relationship. Like I said, maybe you also brought in money. Maybe you brought in looks. Maybe you brought in a great family. There are lots of things, but for sure we brought in stability, loyalty, faithfulness, willingness to give to a fault, and so many things. You know what you brought into the relationship, and I know what I did. So the reality is, there is no possible way that narcissist was in a relationship with someone like you or me, and they left, and the relationship blew up, and they just jumped right on over to the next person who was just as wonderful. Think about that logically. What are the odds? Is it impossible? It's not impossible. But is it likely? No. Is it even slightly? I would put it just this side of possible. It's so highly unlikely. And I'll prove it. Because throughout your life, think about your romantic history. And even think about the people you're really good friends with. I mean, like you're close, your inner circle type. You're John and James and Peter type, the inner circle that Jesus had. Whoever it is for you that you trust to no end, that you know is the chips are down, that person is there, and there's nothing wicked in them. There's no deceptiveness. They're genuine. They are authentic. How many people are like that? How many people in your life are like that? You're lucky. People are lucky if they have one or two. I'm very fortunate and blessed. I have a few. But there's not a bunch. Now think about that. So that's a friendship. But now think about that in terms of someone you're going to spend perhaps your life with. Are you going to tell me, is anybody out there going to tell me that these people just grow on trees? That you can just go out and find people like us around every corner? You can walk into every department store and there they are, aisle 3. Wonderful people, amazing people of the light, aisle 3. What do you think the narcissist does? Does the narcissist walk into a store and say, man, I'm looking for that grade A supply. Man, we're at, aisle 3? Doesn't work that way. Do you think they get on their dating sites? Then they live on these dating sites. Do you think they get on there, and does it have a little, I don't even know exactly how all of them work. I don't get on there. But what does it have, like a title and say grade A supply? Wonderful person of the light? What does it have on these? There's no way. There's no way they're getting on these dating sites and they're finding a whole bunch of wonderful people. Because guess what? If you really are that person, a lot of the time you're not going to be on a dating site. And I'm not saying that anybody who's ever been on one of those is desperate or bad. Or there are some people on there, I'm sure, that are diamond in the rough. I'm sure it happens. If you've ever been on one, I'm not criticizing you. I'm not saying you're evil or it's wicked to get on those things. It's dangerous because you're going to find toxic people 95% of the time. So I don't recommend it. But there's no way the narcissist is getting on these dating sites for their area, wherever they live, and they're just finding a whole bunch of awesome, stellar, romantic partners. Just think about it. So get back to my previous point. You go through life, how often have you ever found that kind of person? How often? It doesn't occur. It doesn't occur every day. You're very fortunate, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion. You're very fortunate if you, in your lifetime, find one person who fits that category. One person who mirrors you. What you bring in, the kind of person of faith, loyalty, service, kindness, love, empathy. You are very blessed to find one of those people in your lifetime where it all matches up and it fits and it works. The idea, guys, that the narcissist bounces from wonderful, stellar, spectacular person to the next is an absolute joke. Because we can't do that. Like I said, we're fortunate to find that once in our lives. Maybe, depending on how things work, a couple times. Now, obviously, you don't want it to happen more than once because the idea is you get married and you stay married and that's it. But we know that doesn't always happen. If you're watching this channel, probably didn't happen for you that way. Didn't happen for me that way. It's what you want. It's your intention. But if you had found that one amazing, truly spectacular person and you had married them, I'm sure you'd still be together. Your relationships probably failed. I'm not saying that we don't make mistakes too. We're not perfect. But your relationship probably failed as the relationship or two I've been in, major relationship, it failed because the other person it didn't reciprocate. They didn't give you what you gave to them. They weren't capable of it. You thought they were probably, but they weren't. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have room to grow, like I said, or we didn't make mistakes in the relationship. We weren't perfect. We weren't flawless. I'm not saying any of that. There are things that you have to improve upon at times. But my point is, if you had met your match, your true match that brought forward basically what you brought to a relationship, and you met up, you'd still be together. The narcissist is the farthest thing from that, are they not? So, again, the point is, the narcissist did not have you or me and then just bounce right over somebody that's just as good as you or me. This is one of the ways, guys, that the narcissist reaps what they sow. And it might not seem like a significant way to you, but it is. Trust me. Because that narcissist will compare everybody that they are ever with after you. Now look, they're always comparing supply sources. They're always comparing all the partners together. Granted. But what happens to that narcissist when they stumble upon somebody that is out of their league, just flat out of their league, that ends up giving them a chance? That is a spectacular person, really high value. And they're in a relationship with them, and they, of course, blow it up because they will blow everything up. Doesn't matter how good you are. Doesn't make any difference. And then, after that relationship implodes, and they have to go on to whatever is next, and however happy they look and however wonderful it seems, it's just an illusion. It's just an illusion. Because were they that way with you? People probably looked at the relationship and thought, oh, that looks really awesome. But was it? No, of course it wasn't. You knew that. You probably took up for the narcissist. You probably made it seem like it was. You probably tried to gaslight yourself, like I did, into thinking, oh, it's really good. But it wasn't. And it's not that way with the person they're with now or in anyone ever. It's never going to be. That's a fact. It's never going to be. But the narcissist is always going to live with the idea of you. You are going to haunt them. And this is a video I'm going to do another time. But your memory is going to haunt the narcissist forever. Because imagine, here's a good example. Let me just put it this way. Now, granted, we feel things a way the narcissist can never feel things. True regret, true loss, all of those things. But imagine that you did find one of the people that I've been talking about, like you or me. You found your match, who's loving, consistent, God-fearing. You find him attractive, the whole 9 yards. And you have this person that you're like, I can't believe I actually have this person. Wow. And then, let's just say you blew it up. Would you do that? No. Would I do that? No. But let's just say you did. You made a bunch of mistakes. You really sabotaged the relationship. And that person said enough's enough, and they drifted off, and that was it. Would you ever forget that person? Would you ever stop comparing everybody that you met to that person? How often throughout the rest of your life would you look back and say, daggone it, I had it. I had it right there, and they slipped through my fingers because I couldn't treat them correctly. I couldn't make it work on my end. I lost the best thing I ever had. I lost it. And I'm never probably going to meet anything like that again. I'm never going to meet anyone like that the rest of my life. Think about how you would feel. Now, granted, again, the narcissist doesn't feel things the way you or I do. They don't have that ability but they do have some ability. They're still human. They're still human beings, at least in some ways, right? They still feel that loss. And they are going to have to look back the rest of their lives and say, wow, look at what I lost. Look at this person, look at what I lost. Look at who I'm with now. I used to have him. I used to have her. They'll do that. They're always comparing supply. Now, guess what if you're the best? If you're the best or in that realm that they've ever had, they're never going to forget about you. And they know they're never going to match you. And this happens. Sometimes the narcissist tells the truth, don't they? Sometimes, particularly when they're trying to get you back. And one of the things that I heard, and I know is not unique to me, I heard this: I will always compare everyone to you. I believe it, because I know what I brought in. I know what I brought to the table in that relationship. So do you. Maybe the narcissist told you that, maybe they didn't, but I guarantee it's true. So the idea that the narcissist just skates through life and they find wonderful person after wonderful person, top-notch choice supply, aisle 3, that is an absolute atrocity of thought. It's impossible. As much as they're constantly rooting around for supply like pigs in a trough, as much as they're doing that, how often are they finding those types of people? Even if you see the narcissist in pictures with an attractive person, you think, wow, they might be better than they're not. So what? Even if for some reason they're better looking than you, so what? There's a whole bunch of other things to factor in, and I can guarantee there's about a 99.9% chance that whoever you see that narcissist with now or in the future, they don't stack up to you. As a whole package of what you bring, no. They're really fortunate if they might find one other throughout the course of their lives that's in that neighborhood. Because again, how often do we find that? Some people never find that throughout the course of their entire lives. Some people stay married. Sure, some people stay married their whole lives, but that person is not that to them. They're not madly in love their whole marriage. They make it work. It's a business arrangement, or they stay involved for the kids. Lots of marriages are like that. How many people truly find what you would say the love of their life that reciprocates, is like, okay, God sent this person clearly. I can't believe this person. I got to pinch myself. How often does that happen? How often do you think that really happens for the narcissist? So guys, I'm trying to help. I hope this is helping somebody. We often think that the narcissist, if they discarded me, it had to go on to some wonderful person. Not true. If I discarded them, well, later on they'll find somebody that's like me and replace me. Doubt it. Highly doubtful. And the narcissist knows that. And that's one of their, like I said, that's one of their curses. They're going to have to live the rest of their life knowing they lost a wonderful person because they can't get it right. They can't get it right with anybody. So, hope this brings some closure. I hope that the last video combined with this brings some peace. That A, the narcissist didn't go on and get it right with somebody else. There's nothing you could have done differently or better. It wasn't going to happen. And 2, they don't just go on to great people over and over and over and over and over. That is outrageous to think that's possible. No one on earth does that. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how good looking you. None of that matters because there are not that many truly amazing people out there. There's not. So I hope this brings some closure. The narcissist did not get it right, and the narcissist did not go on to better and better and better things. It's not possible. It's not possible. I'd give it a fraction of a percent of a chance that this happens ever at all in their lives at any point. They're never going to get it right, but there's a fraction of a percent chance that they find somebody in your ballpark. Again, very, very unlikely. So anyway, hope this is helpful for somebody. If you have ideas for videos or things you would like me to talk about, please drop them in the comments. Did have somebody say they want me to explore the trauma bond further. I will do that here soon because to talk about the trauma bond. If you have other things you would like me to talk about, drop them in the comments below, and I will get to them. So thanks for everything, all the comments and the new subscribers and the old subscribers and everybody else. Also want to shout out to Hummingbird, another person who's commented a lot here, and I appreciate your viewership. So anyway, until next time, God bless.